Today's episode of DRL is brought to you by Hella Cocktail Company. My guests don't just come to DRL for me. They also come for the cocktails. Luckily, my friends at Hella Cocktail Company have my back. These guys make amazing mixes, from Bloody Mary to Margarita to Moscow Mule. They also make cocktail bitters, my secret ingredient, and now yours too. It's easy to feel like the best bartender in town when every bottle comes with a simple recipe on it. Hella Cocktail Company, bold flavor, real ingredients, hospitality. Mixing it up since 2011. Shop the collection on Amazon Prime or use code DRL online at hellacocktail.co for free shipping. Hello, my lovely listeners. Welcome back to another episode of DRL, where we're talking everything dating, relationships, and love. I'm your host, Tanisha Wood. So a couple weeks, maybe even like months ago, I was on Instagram and a friend of mine sends me a page. And it's a private page. And she's like, oh my God, take a look at this. So I start following the page, Erotic Ropes by Dash. And I was like, ooh. And I can't even tell what half the images are. Kind of sexual, but there's like somebody being tied up by a rope. There's like some things happening to them. There's in some posts, there's like some body paint, stuff's glowing in the dark. But anyway, I wasn't exactly sure what was happening, but it was some freaky stuff happening. So I followed this guy. Hi, Sir Dashington.
Hello.
I love that, by the way, Sir Dashington. His name is Sir Dashington. Now, Sir Dashington, I followed your page, but I still wasn't exactly sure what it is that you do. I see stuff. The stuff looks interesting. So tell me exactly what it is that you do.
Right. So I kind of had to like make up my own title for this thing, but I call it erotic visual performance art.
Okay.
That's what it is. Because I feel like there's a few different mediums happening within this thing. There's a little domination going on. There's definitely some visual art and body painting and body work going on. But then it's also a healing aspect and a orgasm and a release aspect to it. So there's like between all three of them together, it's all art to me. And so I call it erotic visual performance art. I do shows, but because that's what it is when I'm doing the shows. But at the same time, when I do it on a personal level, it's more of a healing thing.
So what do you do exactly in these sessions or at these events?
I'm a rope artist, so I tie people up. And within the ropes, there's already a art in that. Just the shapes and the symmetry of the ropes is very beautiful on skin. And then I added an aspect because I like black lights and I like things to glow and pop. So I make all my ropes and I make all my ropes and they all glow in the dark. Then I kind of throw body paint and different things like that to kind of like add a visual effect. Really helps take some of the taboo and some of the sexuality out of the whole act. Sometimes without the lights and out the paint and all that, it kind of gets thrown into this BDSM scene. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want my art to kind of fall into that. I want to still be respected as art, and I want to be seen. I want to be able to force people into thinking something different when it comes to BDSM and it comes to all that. So by adding the visual aspects, I knew that it would capture another whole side of people with that. So
is it sexual?
To me, it's not sexual. I'm a healer. I'm an artist. I mean, for me, I started doing it because I was doing these shows out in Brooklyn where I was like, giving anybody shroom tea, getting anybody zooted on psychedelic shroom tea. I'll put craft paper on the walls and put a bunch of art supplies out, and people would just like doodle and get fucked up and kind of start doing their own thing. And then within doing that, I kind of got into like throwing paint on girls in front of like canvas painting while they were like dancing or doing hula hoop or contortionist, doing yoga or whatever. And then one of my homegirls asked me to like spank her with flogger whips dipped in paint to kind of like make this rainbow effect.
So this really started with a vision of art.
It started off as art. And then it got to the point where I realized it's something I wanted to do. I wanted to get into it. And so I would tie girls up and I would put painted paint on them. And I was like, yeah. And the girls would be like, okay, so what's next? And I'm like, I got other colors. I got red. If you want to put some red in there, they're like, no, like, what do you? And so then I started realizing, like, okay, there's something else that has to happen after the visual aspect. And then, so I met somebody who brought me to a dungeon party, like a BDSM party. And I went and I seen how they were moving after girls are tied up and different things. And I was like, oh, this stuff is something I can get into. And then they put me onto FetLife. FetLife.com is like a Facebook for fetishes. Mm-hmm. So basically, people just post their stuff, post their personal stuff, post their personal stories. If they have any events in different areas, they kind of post their events and people kind of come out and stuff like that. So this girl put me onto that. She told me to post some of my pictures from my first show on this website. And literally, as soon as I posted my first pictures, people started hitting me up like, come to my dungeon party, come to my orgy party, swinger parties. And I was like, oh, shit, okay.
And so then once it kind of transitioned to be a little bit more sexual, what are you actually doing at that point? So beyond the ropes and the paint.
So beyond that, I started realizing, okay, once you have a woman in that state, it's cool to play with their senses and play with their vibration and play with their body, and you could take them into different places. I realized that once I take the sex out of what I'm doing and just kind of focus on other aspects, that I was able to tap into them on a wave which was more spiritual and that was more conducive to finding out what they wanted and what their bodies needed and what they like. Literally their body language, I can hear shit loud and clear. Like you don't have to tell me what to do A, B, and C next. I kind of can watch your body and your body will kind of talk to me. You know what I'm saying?
So what are their bodies saying and what are you doing to answer it?
So a lot of times, I'll tell you right now, most time people just need to be touched. People need the human contact. And because the way our society is set up and the way things are right now, people don't do as much touching especially with people that don't know and people that, understand that and really share that. So like really, they don't know how to express this though. People come to me and they say, yeah, I want to get spanked up. Some girls like, I just want to be cuddled. And some girls, so everybody has a different way to approach it. So it's just to me kind of figure out which realm they want to do it. So I realized within doing this, it kind of goes down into like 3 different realms. It has like the artsy fartsy realm where girls just want to be turned into art. They want to feel beautiful. They want to be liberated in that form. So there's that for them. You know what I mean? Then
and so with that, you're just doing like the paint and the glow.
Sometimes it's teaching lessons. Sometimes it's doing stuff with their couples, teach them how to do it. Sometimes it's people who want to perform at shows. Some people want to be in my shows. And then I have like my clients' services. So then I have people that actually pay me for fetish services. They want it their way. So if they want it their way, I have a menu.
What's on the menu?
So I have to on the menu. It's like I have like wax play. I have like spanking paint. I have like spanking service. I have like a cuddle service called Goddess Pampering service. I have electrocution service.
How does that work?
Well, I have like electrostimulation pads. Mm-hmm. And what I do is I hook them up to you and I hook them up to me and then I turn myself into the conductor. So then wherever I touch you at, you kind of feel this like buzzing electrical feel. And so then I play with that and touch you in different areas and stimulate you like that.
What would you say by far is the most popular service that you do?
I would say Goddess Pampering service because it's my most basic service.
That's the cuddling?
It's a massage mixed in with this like good conversation, good energy. It's just what I realize is for me, right? Goddess Pampering service is basically the base of all my services. I always start off with Goddess Pampering service. I'm never going to just jump on somebody with some electricity and be like, nah!
Hey!
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a whole build-up that has to happen to that. So sometimes the most basic of that service is the build-up. And so I added it as a service in itself because women need to see that that's something they can have. Because when they think of BDS and they think of this stuff, they go to 50 Shades of Black, whatever the fuck.
50 Shades of Grey.
And then they get that shit all mixed up and they don't really understand, like, this is something you can make it for however you want it to be. Like, if you're more into the more brutal stuff, you can have it more brutal. If you're into stuff that's more sensual, you can have it more sensual. It's kind of whatever your body needs and whatever you're ready for.
Do some services involve sex or no?
No, none of my services involve sex. I only have sex with people that I'm feeling or girls that I'm actually dealing with, so I'm building with, on that type of terms. It
involves sexual things though. Like, are you touching?
Yeah. I touch them everywhere. I make them come all over the place. I make them come, but I don't have to necessarily.
And that's just with hands.
That's just with my hands and my toys and my stuff that I have in my bag. I don't have to put my dick out for them to come a million times or to get to that spot. Because I realized, like, if you take sex out the picture, if you're already going to it knowing that you're not pulling your dick out, you ain't getting no sex, right? You kind of tap into other things in this woman's body and anatomy and her mind and soul, and that's how you really get her to come to those levels. You know what I'm saying? So I tell all the guys, you got to mind trick yourself. You know if you do your shit right, she's going to beg you to do it. But you go into it like, nah, this ain't that. This is me just pleasuring you and giving you whatever you need. And if you go into it like that, you're going to get some, but you also achieved another thing that you connected with her in a way that you don't get a chance to connect with a lot of time. I mean, I have people that come to me in relationships. I have couples that come in relationships. They've been in relationships for 10, 20 years. And literally in 30 seconds, I can tap into their woman, and they're like, and the woman's still like, holy shit, like, I've been dealing with this dude for 10, for years.
Wow.
And I don't know how, and I'm just like, because he already knows he's getting some pussy. So he's already like, I'm going to skip his brain without him thinking.
I'm going to skip A, B, C, D.
I'm going to hit a little D, hit a little F, and then I'm going to get some pussy. Like, nah. Like, and women do the same thing too. If they were to take sex out of the picture and figure, like, let me just tap into this man and I want to get him off. I don't want this to be about me at all. You're going to find different ways to tap into this guy that you never thought about.
So how does one do that without sex? How does one tap into somebody sexually, in a sexual way, but without actual sex?
You have to be unselfish. You have to be unselfish. You have to be a type of person that has the ability to find pleasure in other people's pleasure. You know what I'm saying? I've found multiple ways to find joy in doing the work I do without actually having sex with somebody. Like, in my mind, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell me nothing. Like, I see some beautiful girls. I do some wild things with them that they don't get you to do. Yeah, I ain't fuck them. But in my head, like, yo, I feel really good about it.
You released a lot in them.
I released a lot in them too, because I also feel good. It strokes my little egos here and there. I'm like, yo, like, shit. Like, I feel really confident these days. I feel like there's no woman that I couldn't conquer. I couldn't take her down, or couldn't not really take her down, but like just pleasure her and put her into another headspace. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's gotten more with just doing this type of work and getting to the point where it's like, okay, I know myself, I know my abilities, I know the woman's anatomy, and with a little bit with those things right there, and all I gotta do is pay attention to what her body's telling me. You know what I mean? Have
you always been like this before you started this work? So with partners, is this something you had always tapped into? Just getting to know them and their bodies on a spiritual level, and having sex sort of be the secondary part of that?
Yeah, I learned that really early. I had to like dig in myself and think, where did I first start really getting into that? And when I think about it really, it comes down to like my mom. Like, I used to give like my mom some bomb ass massages, and my mom used to love them. So she'd be like, I got 3 brothers and a dad. She'd be like, where's Dash at? I need him to do my back. You know what I'm saying? And I would do my back, and I really got pleasure in just making her feel good. Like, I would hear my mom moan, she'd be like, oh,
right.
And I know I did a good job when I got done it. And that right there was like some of my earliest memories of like pleasuring somebody else and doing it in a non-sexual way, but still making somebody feel really good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that whole mentality is where it comes down to, because now I realize I can make people feel really, really good when I don't think about sex. When we take the sex out of it, I can really focus on how to make them feel good. Because like, if you know you're going to get some soon, it's like we will. It just naturally we kind of skip over it. You know what I'm saying?
So when you do this work with couples, how do the men react? Do they have a good reaction in terms of, wow, you just maybe made my woman do something that I haven't been able to do, or I've been trying to do? Like, how do they react to you? Because now you're another man that's in the picture that's essentially pleasuring their woman. Are they threatened by that, or you?
At first they are. The situations that I have with couples, a lot of times it's me that actually makes this whole thing happen. The woman's having a hard time trying to figure out how to communicate to her man exactly that this is what she wants. It's hard as a woman to like convince your man that you're gonna meet this dude off the internet and y'all about to do this stuff, but it ain't gonna be no sex gonna happen. It's hard for a woman to break that down to him. It's easier for me to break that down to him than it is for her to break that down for him. So a lot of times I suggest that, listen, you're probably having a hard time, because it would be hard for my lady to convince that shit to me too. I think a guy can convince another guy that I ain't trying to smash his lady, you know what I'm saying? And then how I talk and how I kick it to him is like, yo, bro, me and you are about to be like teammates, and we about to jump your lady, and we got the pleasure. All the things that I can't do, guess what? You can do. I'm just going to be your help, sis man, boom, boom. I got all the tools. I got all the good shit you need. So you just got to show up with your lady. That's all you got to do. I got the ropes. I got the toys. I got all that stuff. You got to show up. I'm going to show you exactly what to do. You know what I mean? I hold her legs back. I pull the wings back. Whatever I got to do to assist the situation. And it's kind of dope. It's like a woman gets that experience of like having 2 guys at the same time, but at the same time, and the guy feels safe too, because it's like, he gets to give his girl some ill experience, but also me and him are in agreement. Like he already knows, like, okay, he ain't gonna violate that because you know what I mean. So it's easy for me to get them to trust that.
So is that a conversation you have with the man beforehand? Like, you're gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, or do you sort of let it all flow as it's happening?
I let it flow, but I know exactly what's gonna go. I mean, I know what I'm not gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So I know what I can't do, but I know what I'm gonna tell him to do.
Walk me through how this happens in a scenario like that, like with a couple. Like, so this, let's just say a couple comes in.
So a couple comes in, right? A lot of times I tell the dude just to chill, sit down, relax, and just kind of stand by. Sometimes they're cool with just sitting back in the corner watching. Sometimes they want to be like, stand shoulder to shoulder with me and be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? And they be hype about it too. And it's all good, you know what I mean? So I usually... If they're a person that's not, you know, kind of sitting back and relaxing, I'll kind of get them started, put the girl in the ropes and have her looking really, really nice just in the ropes. So I wouldn't even being bounded. Because what I do is like, I realize that once a lot of these women put the ropes on and they're glowing, they see themselves in a certain light, it makes them feel like really, really good. Like they feel really beautiful. They feel sexy. I think a lot of times, like a lot of women look at like strippers and like porn stars, and they have like this different side. They feel like they're so sexy. They're on another level here, and they're here, and it's really we're all the same people. But a lot of people just don't get to see themselves in that certain light. So the first thing I do is I put them in some sexy ropes and take some pictures. And then they look at their own shit and they're like, oh. And then after that, they're hype about whatever the fuck happens after that. You know what I'm saying? So then I get him on that. He's looking at his girl like, oh shit, like I got my own porn star. She's like, I feel like a porn star. You know what I'm saying? And then I start the session, you know what I'm saying? Like the last one I did, the whole session, I didn't do nothing but tell the dude what to do. Basically, I kind of become very dominant and start telling everybody what to do.
So you're like the director.
Yeah, I'm like directing it. That's how I feel. I feel like a director. I'm about to direct this whole shit.
Have you ever had a guy be upset about anything that you're doing?
Only guys that don't get a chance to be in part of it. Like sometimes I get about like twice a month, I get some dude in my DM like really upset or really disgruntled. But then I talk to them. When they talk to them, they realize like I'm on their side. They're like, oh, word. It's shit is so crazy because like girls will come to me. Sometimes girls will come to me and they be trying to do shit on the low. Girls be trying to be sneaky, and they got whole situation.
After they came to you with their boyfriend, they're like, hey, can we get a single session?
No, not that. No. Before that, like they try not to even bring their boyfriend into the situation. So I already know once I realize that they got a man, they got somebody, I already let them know like, listen, you should probably tell your man. Once I realize you got a situation, I'm like, oh, so you should tell your man, blah, blah, blah. If you don't scared, you know, I tell him, I talk to put me in the, you know, I'll hook it up however I need to do it to make that happen. But when it all comes down to it, like a lot of times, you know, if some of the women are like, yo, he ain't with it, I don't give a fuck. This is what I want. And I'm like, hey, you know, I feel like as a man, the first thing I do is like, I suggest that you should try to talk to your man, this and that. But if that's not what you want to do, I ain't going to fight. Your shit is confidential. We're going to do the shit, and he'll never know as far as I'm concerned. Like you know what I'm saying? But sometimes some women feel weird. They feel funny. And then they end up saying some shit to the man. And then they be trying to you know, make it okay. So they, you know, it's weird. So then the guy comes and he's like upset about it, or he wants to know like what are the details and what he wants to hear from my voice that nothing happened, so that like, you know what I mean? Because he don't really believe his lady quite right. You know what I'm saying?
Which is a darn shame.
It's a shame. A lot of times, like, listen, your lady's dead spot on right, and we didn't do anything. We did ABC session. That's all that happened. She ain't do nothing. You got cool. You know what I'm saying?
When couples come together and they have like a good session and a successful session, and you know everybody is in tuned and is pleasured, does this carry on to their sex life after that?
Yeah. So now they're good. Like after that, they don't need me no more. They're like, oh shit, okay. Now she realized, okay, there's some other things that she likes and wants to have. Also, he realized, okay, there's some things that I need to get up and get and do. So it gives them both like shit to work on, and now they can start. If they start working on those things, you know what I mean, their whole sex life gets better. And hopefully they drop a baby and them dash.
What do you think the main things that couples are missing is? Like before they come to you, like what are the things that you're like, yeah, like this is what you were not doing?
The biggest thing is communication.
I have a feeling you know the answer to this question, even though you're not a woman. But what can women do to help their partners please them in the best way?
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a fear of that. Like it's the fear of the male ego is going to get shattered, and then it's going to like fuck things up worse. Like, stop thinking like that. Yo, fuck all that hurt their feelings if you have to. If you're not being satisfied, tell your partner you're not being satisfied. Tell them where, the things that you want done. A lot of women want things done, but they don't want to say it. Because sometimes saying things kind of fucks up the vibe a little bit. Like, you want somebody to kind of like tap into you without you having to be like, yeah, I want A, B,
do
C,
this,
D,
do this, then do that, then turn this, then poke that.
Yeah, they kind of can kill the vibe sometimes. But I feel like that's what's got to happen in a way. Like, because if you don't do that, I'm gonna tell you what happens. A guy's he's gonna have sex. He's gonna suck. He's gonna do it 3 or 4 times. He's still gonna suck. Then he's gonna get lucky one day and do one little thing with one girl, and it's gonna work, and she's gonna love it, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I got it now." And then he's gonna think that's what you do to everybody, and then he's gonna fuck
one trick pony.
Most guys are a one trick pony. Right now, they're one trick pony, and so they kind of just. You know what I mean? Do what they know. And then nobody ever says, hey, this shit ain't all like, you need to do this, you need to do that, or you were this close, but you just need to do this.
Or a lot of women fake it. And then even worse, because now that man thinks that wrong thing that he's doing is out here having the opposite effect. And I'm just like, stop that, because it screws it up for everybody.
It's for everybody, because what happens more than anything that's fucked up more than anything is the ego. That's where it's fucked up, because when a guy thinks that he got it like that, now he's confident. He's walking around like, yo, work. But like, you tell him, like, yo, listen, you ain't quite hitting it right, but you get in there, keep working on it. Yo, he's gonna have a different whole approach when he comes to fuck with you. He ain't gonna be walking in here like, make me a sandwich. And then we get started, he'll be like, I'm gonna do my thing, and if you like it, you can make me a sandwich after, right? if you really like it. You know what I'm saying? It just changes your whole humility about the shit.
Now, one thing that I think couples do in sex after they've been together for a while, in a situation like that you were talking about, where somebody's been doing the wrong thing, and maybe a woman has gone along with it and said, okay, or not said anything. How do you then switch that dynamic when you have either said nothing or have said you liked it, and now all of a sudden, 10 years down the line, you're like, that thing that you've been doing for the last 10 years, don't. How do you switch that whole dynamic?
I think we just keep it real with each other, because the reality is like, yo, like, everybody gets immune to shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I got beatings and spankings all my life. By the time I was 11, 12 years old, I was eating spankings. I was telling my dad, like, I had to think about it, like, I could just do that, get the beating, and then still, you know what I mean?
You just put it into the equation of things you have to face.
Right, just put it into the equation of things you have to face. So I feel like that's one of the things. And I think another thing is this, I feel like I help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I help. I feel like sometimes people need something extreme, something different. With my services and what I do and all this, it's one of the things that kind of opens people's minds up. Because it's coming on my page. If you're a lady, you come to my page and you're like, yo, this shit is fucking interesting. Let me show my man this shit. You show your man, automatically y'all having a conversation about things. You know what I'm saying? That you probably normally don't have a conversation about. And that right there is the start of some things. So now, okay, say that doesn't work. And so now you could be like, yo, listen, I want to try this. You know what I'm saying? Now he's like, do I let this other dude come in here and try this? Or do I get my shit together and try to go to a sex shop and maybe find some things and try to work it out myself? You know what I'm saying? Most guys, if he really cares, you're going to be like, you know what? Let me try to do this shit myself. You know what I'm saying? Already, you're making your shit better. You're like, he's already thinking and getting him open to like doing some things. So he's going to go get some rope. He's going to get some little whack-ass rope. He's going to get some shit. And shit ain't going to look like my shit online. Then you got to be like, yo, listen, this shit is dope. I want your shit to look like that shit. So what can we do? You know what I'm saying? So now you're talking a conversation of bringing me in and coming in. So a lot of times when I get those guys that are shoulder to shoulder with me, they are watching because they're like, yo, I'm about to do this shit. I'm about to buy some rope off this dude right here. Let me get them in this class. And they never come back, which is great. You know what I mean? To me.
Wow.
Anyway. Financially, it's all right. But,
So are you in a relationship right now? Are you single, dating, or what's your deal?
I'm single. I've been single since I've been doing this.
Have you dated people? Like, not necessarily a relationship, but have you dated people?
I had one little situation that lasted about 5 months, and that shit didn't work. But for the most part, like, a lot of women don't want to date me. They don't want to date me. They're like, I feel like for the most part, what happens is I meet a woman, boom, when she finds out what I do, which is within really soon, I don't really hide what I do or anything like that. Once they find out what I do, they kind of want that.
Oh, so then they're just using you for, well, now this is what you do. Come do this to me. And it becomes about that? Is that what you mean?
It turns from, it starts off from like a conversation. Then it could be like, it could turn to they end up being a client, or they turn and they want to do a show, or they just want to experience it on their own personal time and not pay anything. You know what I'm saying? And they, you know, so there's different lanes that they kind of go with. But like, as far as like, oh, I want to be with you for you, like, fuck that shit. But then like later, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't even tell people shit and just let them like just figure it the fuck out. But I can probably go for a long time like that. But it's gonna be too much lying and shucking and jiving. It's just been really hard. All I know is that like when I do start dealing with a woman that wants to really kind of deal with me, it's like soon her feelings start to really, really get into it. She has to like make a decision. Like, is this really what she want to do or not? And it gets weird.
Do you think they're just intimidated by the fact that you're with and touching other women in a sexual way?
Yeah, I mean that too. I mean that's the main thing. I mean the main thing is I'm dealing with a lot of different women, and they're coming in different places, different spaces, different headspaces, and a lot of women don't trust that a man can be able to keep his cool or keep himself together within doing all that for some reason. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know a lot of reasons. Like, a lot of dudes, there's a lot of bullshit out there. But for me, I look at it like this. If a woman was smart, if they're really, really thinking about it, I'm actually not tempted as much as most people may be tempted because I'm around it all the time. Like, literally.
You're sort of immune to it in a way.
Yeah,
like, a naked woman sitting here doesn't always turn me on in that way.
In that way at all. Like, I'm just going to be looking like, boo. But first, I'm going to look at it like, oh, like a piece of, like a canvas, like a blank canvas that I can, like, do my art on. That's the first thing that goes through my mind. I'm like, ooh, if a woman would think like that, they would get it. But I think it takes some time to actually understand that, and you have to get with me, understand, live, kind of roll with me, kind of see how I live a little bit to really, really understand that.
Would you ever be with a woman that maybe did something similar to you?
Yeah, I've tried that too, and I feel like that doesn't work either. Like, a lot of times, there's good things that happen because they understand a certain aspect of what I'm doing with my life and how it's just worked for me, and they get that aspect of it. But then I've had situations with women in the lifestyle that I've dealt with, and it's like I didn't see much different. It got down when the feelings get dark, getting deep, and there's certain things that a woman's gonna want and need. Then the thing, I travel a lot too, so that's also what makes it kind of crazy. I'm not there all the time. When you need me, most time I'm not there.
Right. Do you want to be like with one person and essentially settle down, for lack of a better term?
I want one queen that I can really like roll with, and however, whatever sexual fantasy, whatever we decide we want to do together, we can roll and do that together. Like, if she wanted 3 dicks, I'll be out in the streets getting her 2 dicks.
Now, you don't have a lot of like taboo around sexuality and sex. How do you think that you were able to get rid of that and not have those sorts of taboos? Because like what you just said about 3 dicks, like most men would be like, right, my girl's having 1 and that's me.
Right. I've been, first of all, I think a lot of shit, because I was married really young. You know what I'm saying?
How old were you when you were married?
I was married by 21.
Wow. Why did you get married so young?
Well, I had babies a couple years before that.
Oh, wow. So you guys got married after the kids.
Yeah, we married the kids. But it was my ex-wife. She's not cool. We still really, really cool. Like, no situation. But we were really young, and we kind of like grew up into a situation together. So when I was really, with us being really young in the situation, I really like played around and tried to do all the different kind of things within our relationship just to keep the shit interesting. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't think about it as BDS. I might think about it as kinky stuff. I just like, yo, we just trying to keep our shit alive. We were young and popping, and we like, yo, she's beautiful, I'm handsome. We like, yo, so we used to do different things. So we try to go to swinger parties a couple of times, do different things, and just try open our minds up on some whole different ways. I remember the first time going to like a swinger party with my ex-wife and being like, both being very, very nervous. Like, I believe me, I was just as nervous as any other brother. Like, yo, listen, we had rules. We was like, we're going in, we fucking each other, and we gonna watch some shit, but we ain't fucking with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? We just watch. We just want to watch. And we both were like, yeah.
How old were you at this point?
We were like 21, 22, something like that. We were really young. So, but we went to this thing, and literally some couples started talking to us. We started kicking it back to them, and before you know it, like, shit was popping off. Like, it was weird. Like, me and a dude became like teammates. It was so fucking weird. Like, me and this dude was like teammates. We both were like, we about to fuck these girls up today. We had it in our minds like we about to like make this the best sexual experience for these 2 women ever. Like, it was weird. We didn't have to say it though. It was like we were just like on the same zone. It was like boom, and it was cool. Yo, they were mad cool. And from there, I was like, damn, I thought I was gonna have that feeling like, get off my lady. But I was like, nah, I get it, son. You know, like, yo, it was so fucking weird. And once I realized that I had that in me, or I realized that.
So you didn't feel any way about it as some other guy was having sex with your woman?
I didn't. I thought I would. You know what I'm saying? That's why we were in together, like being like, we gonna be, we get this line that we thought we were gonna stay on. But this is one of the things I just was like, fuck it, we here, you know what I mean? Let's just have a good time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be selfish and be like, oh yeah, I'm on orgies on me and have my lady like,
right.
You know what I mean? Once you commit to that situation with your lady, it's like, y'all walking in this together, so it's like, yo, y'all just gotta be kind of fearless. The dope thing is that you realize, like, oh shit, we just did all that shit. I still love her the same. Like, I don't feel like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, so then I realize, like, wait a minute, sex is this. Sex is a very, very strong and powerful thing, but sex ain't really shit, too, either. You know what I mean? It really can be very...
It's about the connection that you have with that person.
That's
and
it.
if it's not there, sex won't make it. And if it's there, sex won't break it.
Right, exactly.
So after that experience together... It just, like, did it change both of your mindsets in terms of, like, how you saw each other or the relationship?
We looked at it like a crazy night. Like, we just had a crazy night and then kind of went back to normal. But those fantasy, those things play without in our sexual life. And you know, and then, like, a little later on, we're like, let's try to do it again. The first time was, like, in a club. The next time we went to, like, it was, like, a people's crib, like a personal loft and crib. And that shit was crazy. That shit was good, too. That was, like...
What happened there?
That was, like, it was wow. It was wild. It was wild because it was this dude. It was like this dude. He was like, it was back in the days, but he reminded me of Jadena. He was like a smooth ass, light skinned ass nigga. Like he was just mad charismatic and was mad. Yo, he just was like moving through the party, and I was like, yo, this nigga right here don't want to fuck with my lady. Yo. Like, I felt some kind of weird. Yo, I felt some kind of way at first, but then it was so like, it was like weird. So like. She started like kind of hooking with him. He kind of like morphed his way, and somehow like they're like talking this and that. So I had to be like control myself. Like, okay, let me occupy myself. So then I like found the baddest chick in the room and was like, yo, holla. So then, you know, we did that. We rocked them. We were like separate for a little while, and then by the time we came back together, we had already like did our deeds. We both felt guilty, so we just kind of like attacked each other, like and like put all that guilt into like it was weird. Like we put it into our sexual experiences for the rest of the night. It was weird. It was really cool. It was really good. It was different, but it was weird. But then it was like one of the things where like we never really talked about what we did separately in our separate, you know, when we separated ourselves. You know what I'm saying? It was just like we separated ourselves. We did some things. We know we did some things. We just gonna act like they ain't happened, and then come back and just chill.
So after that, did you guys sort of allow for more open relationship, or was it still just always?
We just did it twice. We did it one time, and that was that, and then that was it. But it was cool. It was like. We were really young too, so it was like it was for me. It was like the introduction to some real shit. So like, by the time when me and her separated after 10 years, I knew there were some things I wanted to tap into some more. There were some things that I knew I was still at the bottom of the totem pole, and so I just kind of like just kind of open myself up to like be different and do some different things. You know what I'm saying? I've always beat to my own drum. I've always been like don't follow the crowd. Everybody's doing that. I'm doing this. I've always been like that. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't really hard for me to be like. To see something different and then be like, oh, I'm going to try to do what's different. You know what I'm saying? All this stuff I'm doing right now, like I never said, oh, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm sought out to do. This is like, I feel like I've been ordained. I've literally been put into this position to do what I'm doing right now. And it's not really my choice. I love it. I love doing the instant, but it wasn't nothing I ever sought out to do. All the skills that it takes me to do this stuff are stuff I've been doing since I was a kid. I just never put it all together.
That you're now tapping into, and this is like the culmination of it.
Mm-hmm.
When you do events, people are being watched, like they're being tied up and then other people are watching them.
Mm-hmm.
How are they reacting as they're being watched? Like, do they act different, you think, than they normally would if they weren't being watched, or how does that work?
No, I don't think nobody ever acts different. I think that being tied up in front of people and being in expeditions is a certain type of person. They're not the same people that are my clients. Totally different type of people. Their personalities are different. They usually different whole type of feel and vibe and energy from them. So when I get people that are down to do stuff in front of other people, I treat them like really, really special because I know they're harder to find. I got to keep up with them. When I'm in the city, I got to do, when I come into a city, it's just like, okay, there's girls I can call that I'll be able to make clients with, and they'll make some money, they'll spend some money, I'll be able to make that. Then I need like at least one or two girls to like do a show with, just in case I get anybody want to do a private show or my main event or whatever I'm doing there.
You know what song just popped into my head? I'm I'm your private dancer, dancer for money.
Yo, it's just real. Yo. It's so crazy. I swear, every day I look in the mirror and I'm like, this is my life. I'm like, this is crazy, son. I bug out.
Have you ever been tempted to take it further? So you're tying somebody up, there's all this sort of like exchange of energy and it's powerful. Like, have you ever just been like, man, I could really just take this all the way. Should I? Like,
I used to. Like, it's funny, when I first got into it, I realized I had to realize like it took me a while to learn that like dick fucks up the bag, and like when you take the dick out, you start thinking about how to really tap. So when I first got into this shit, I was like, I thought that you had to fuck after. I thought it was like we do this to fuck, and then boom, boom, and then I realized like this, I wasn't doing. I realized I was doing things with people that I really didn't want to even do things with. I wanted to just do the ropes and do that aspect of it, but since I felt like that, it was like we were caught up in the situation, and Freedom was like going certain ways, and then it got to the point where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do that no more. I had to set my own rules and set my own situation for myself. But even now, I still like just sometimes I'm just like in my head, I got a little demon that sits on my shoulder, be like, eat her pussy. Because I'd be this close to that shit. I'd be like this close, and I'd be like working, doing my thing. And the little demon would be like, lick it. You want to suck it. And I'd be like, nah, yo, it's crazy.
Nah, the bag.
Nah, get fucking up the money, nigga. You want to eat tomorrow? All right, shit. I swear, it'd be happening. It's crazy. But it's weird. I get the urge to eat the pussy more than anything. Like, not really so much to fuck so much. It's like, usually I don't get the urge to fuck unless I'm really intimate or really feeling that person for that reason. But like that little urge to suck the pussy be like, I got almost every other fucking session I got like, fuck out
Flick that devil off. Go away. Don't mess up my bag.
It's to the point where now when I do sessions, like I won't masturbate a day that I know I'm doing a session. Like I look at my schedule and be like, do I got a session today? Okay, then I can masturbate today. You know what I'm saying? Because I won't do those on the same days, not on purpose. Because I get super horny. It makes me really, really. When I masturbate, it makes me more horny. So then like to the point where like it could fuck up my control mechanism. Got it. Sometimes I'm like, yo, it just because it'd be like my body be like, yo, we here already, baby. We already did this today. So like, what we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'd be trying to ignore that shit.
So how much is a session? Like, how much does something like this cost?
Session cost is $200 or $300. Like I do them in it's $100 an hour or $150 an hour. It depends on where you at. Because I like to do it where I travel to you, and you host it. So I would come to you. You would do it in your house, or you get a hotel. That's on where you could do it in your closet. You could do it in the alley. You could do it at the beach. You could do whatever you want to get. Wherever you comfortable getting tied up at, I will tie you.
We could do this in the alley.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
What's the weirdest place you've ever done it?
The alley.
Literally? Mm-hmm. Somebody was like, meet me in the alley, bring your ropes?
But a lot of times, some people just want pictures and stuff like that too. So they're down to do the scene, but they really just want some pictures of it.
Got it. And then, why we got to do everything for the gram?
Right. Well, not even for the gram. Some people just do it for like real life pictures. Like they want like it'd be me doing my thing, and then there's a photographer. Real photographer taking real pictures, like
so the alley was like a scene for this.
Scene,
got
right.
it. Got it.
It was still weird because it was Philly.
I want to be in an alley in Philly.
This is dirty, Philly. I love y'all.
Can you like do my hands and show me how you do this?
Yeah, so
I'm just curious about this whole process.
So I'll use my small.
So he's brought his ropes today, and he's going to show me, demonstrate on my hands how this works.
I have is I have two different type of ropes I use. I have like a hard rope, which is like a like a regular rope, nylon rope that's very, very hard. When I say hard, I mean like as far as like once I tie you up with it, there's no give in the rope. Like you're tied and you're stuck in that position and you're tied tight because that's a hardcore rope. And then I have these ropes here, which I also make. These ropes I make them out of a material, but they're
stretchy. These ones are stretchy.
It's like a stretchy material. I like them because they feel really good on the skin. They still will bind you the same way. Like if I want to put you in this and you don't want to get out, you're not going to get out. But it also creates a look. And it creates a feel for your body. Like so if you have like girls who are dancers or girls who want to be able to be active while they have the ropes on, they can wear them as a look and as fashion and have that look and still be able to move around and do what they want to do.
What do you think the psychology is behind people liking being bind or tied up?
I feel like a lot of people just, meditation is something that's very, very important. A lot of people need to meditate. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't know they need to meditate. Some people meditate doing things that they don't really consider meditation, but it's actually a form of meditation. I feel like this is one of the things where it's kind of like a meditation. I feel like to be tied up and not be able to move your limbs the way you freely how you normally do, you have to kind of go somewhere mentally to kind of keep yourself from like not wigging out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If not, you'd be like, you start,
get me out of here.
Yeah, you don't want to do so to be able to not do that, you're already cutting off a certain part of your brain. And then when you're tied in a situation where your whole body's stuck and you really can't move, it's a freeing mental state. Like these people kind of like can let go. They can get into breathing exercise. They can like, not think about things. They can fade to black if they need to. And a lot of times I realize that there's the rope aspect. There's people who I've tied in ropes and they say they came off of just a rope tie
just
alone.
being tied up.
Just being tied up. You know what I'm saying? Like how I do tie these ropes, sometimes people feel like it feels like a hug. I have girls that wear it to work. They wear it under their work clothes. Like literally.
Wow.
They wear like underwear. Like straight. They put the panties on, put this joint on, pop an anal plug in, and then put their clothes on and go to work every day.
This is what gets me through the day.
This gets them through the day. But really, it feels like a hug. Like how
let
these
me
ropes
see.
right here, they feel really, really good.
Okay, so I'm going to get a little tie here.
So what I usually do is like I find the bite of the rope, which is like the center, and I use that as like my thing. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to build like a little cuff. So go around her wrist, right? I can come up to the bottom, to the backside. Open your hands, wrap that around, boom. Now, what I did was made a simple cuff just like that. Now, if I squeeze it tighter, I can make this tighter on your hands, or I can let it go. You know what I'm saying? I can adjust it from there. Like from there, I would usually you put your hands behind your back and then tie it to. Like I can put your hands up.
So you bind like the hands, the feet, like everything.
It depends on what they I feel like their body needs. Some people just need to like not use their hands. You know what I'm saying? Some people because I realized that. What I realized that a lot of women stop themselves from really climaxing at their full potential. Like they think that first nut is like, they like bust nut and they're like, oh my God, like, okay, don't touch me. They're like, get off me.
Why do you think that is that women do that?
I think that it's just, they think they're done. They don't know their body. They think that first wave of like, oh, you know what I mean? They feel like that's it. But they don't realize if you keep fucking with it after that, you have like second and third eruption that just builds. You know what I'm saying? So like just teaching them about their bodies. A lot of women, I've supplemented my income off teaching women how to squirt. And I know not even teaching them how to squirt, betting them that they can squirt when they think they can.
Can everybody squirt?
Everybody can squirt.
Okay, I think squirting is just pee. I think it's just a different sort of pee because there's no place in your body where that comes from other than like your bladder.
See, for you to make sense, but for a guy it makes sense. We squirt, we come out of our dick holes every time. It's the same hole that our pee comes out of.
Right.
I'm sure if you went in there and looked, there's going to be some traces of pee within that semen. Yeah, this is that.
Right.
But it still comes out. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with the woman, I feel like if it was pee, then any woman could do it at any time and they can just do it. But this is something else. You know what I'm saying? I can feel it building up. Like literally, when I'm in a woman's vagina and I'm working, I can tell when she's about to squirt. Like I'm pushing some I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like the inside of the fupa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I was in the fupa on the inside, I'll be pushing on that, and I keep pushing it. I can feel it building up and getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and to the point where I'm just pushing it, and then the liquid has nowhere else to go. It's going to shoot out the hole. You know what I'm saying? and so they try to say it's pee, this and that, but like no, it's like a whole fluids that builds up right here. Like
and everybody has the ability to squirt?
Everybody has the ability to squirt. And I can make anybody do it in 60 seconds flat. That's the bet. That's how I make the money.
Y'all heard the challenge. So if you call Sir Dashington, he'll challenge you to a squirt.
60 seconds flat.
60 seconds though?
60 seconds.
Why only a minute? Like how do you do it so fast?
It's all it takes. Okay, how I do it so fast is this. Which I don't tell y'all this part of the bet. But
we're getting some trade secrets here.
I set you up first. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like soon I see you and I get you, it's like, go! You know what I'm saying? I try to get your clothes down, I take your pants
60
down.
seconds
Like, no.
and 3, 2, 1, squirt!
Right. No, it's like, so I already know, like, I build the woman up, build her up real quick. But then when we're ready, when I'm ready, it's like, okay, you ready? I'm ready. All right, now, you keep count. Boom. And when I start, it doesn't take that long. Literally, you can work that inside of the fupa. You literally bomb for the first 10 or 15 seconds. You can feel that shit like fill up, and then you got 45 seconds to 30 seconds to like make it squirt. Like that's way more than enough time. If you keep pushing on, your hands don't get. I'm also a bass player. I don't tell people all that.
So you're good with your hands.
my hands are irregularly strong. Guitar players have like irregularly strong hands. You probably don't know piano players, people that play instruments with their hands. Our fingers tips are very, very strong. We used to playing like you got to like hold the beat. You don't give a fuck how long we playing. We jamming. You better hold that shit. You can't just stop.
You're like, I work my fingers like, every day.
Yeah, you can't do that shit. So you just got to keep it rocking. So what happens? You get these really strong fingers. So a lot of times, a lot of women can't make themselves squirt because their hands are not strong enough. Literally, you got to be able to work that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that shit gets tired. Like, my shit be blowing up, veins be coming out of my hands.
You're like, I'll be in the 2-a-days in the gym on these fingers.
Yo, literally, it's real works. But I know that if you keep rocking it, like, eventually, so just different things. So this is what I have to figure out, though, at the same time. With the 60 seconds, I have to figure out, because there's different ways to make girls squirt. Some, they don't all squirt the same. Some girls, you can just play on the clitoris and get them to squirt. Some girls, you got to go inside and get them to squirt. Some girls you gotta do both and rock them. So I know that, like, you know, if I start rocking on the ground, I feel the inside's not building up the way I want to see it, and I got time, run out of time, then I pull out the Hitachi, and buzzer, then that shit just starts to, you can feel it filling up. Then from there, I go back inside and then make it squirt before the 60 seconds hit.
Wow.
But like my mind is like I can figure it out. Like, is this a combination of like either this, or this and this? But if I don't got time to play, now just start off with both at the same time. But usually it's not even going to be 60 seconds. You're going to probably pop off before that.
Well, I do believe that everybody was sent here on earth with a gift or multiple. Like, I do. I think that God gave everybody a gift. And when you find that gift, you're going to be helping the world. You're going to be helping people, and you're going to be helping the world. And then it's going to be a very powerful gift because that's like literally the thing that you were sent there to do. So I feel like it seems like you're using your gift and you're living in it and helping other people with it. That's dope. I'm still tied up here, by the way, people. I might just keep these. They make me feel comforted.
Yes, they do. Like,
I'm a control freak is the thing. Just generally, I'm the type of person that likes to sort of be in control of everything. So perhaps it's good for me to sit here with my hands bound.
I'm realizing too, I've always been dominant in a situation, but even myself these days lately, I'm feeling more like I need somebody to like tap into me the way I tap into other people. And not necessarily do anything rough or anything like that, because that's not going to work for me. But you need to figure that out. I'm not going to tell nobody. They got to figure what things, you know what I mean? But I realized that like people who are mainly in control a lot of times, there's got to be that balance. You got to have that balance. If not, all that power is not good. You know what I'm saying? All that in control all the time is not good. You got to balance it out somehow. And sometimes this is a good, safe way to balance it out. Because sometimes in your regular life, there is no leeway. You can't like, you're the boss, you're running your shit, and there ain't nobody else that's going to take that lead for you. So there's no like, give way. And
you need a release.
Yeah, you need to be able to do that, but not in your real life, actually. So this is actually a good way to release that control, but at the same time doing it in a way where it's like not affecting your daily your daily bread and all that you do.
When's your next event?
Next week. This weekend I'm off. Well, not really off. This weekend I have private sessions. So a lot of times if I don't book myself for the weekend, then I can just make a trip somewhere and
you travel all over.
I travel all over. Yeah, I do stuff in LA, Denver, Vegas, Miami, all the East Coast cities. And trying to get out to Toronto sometime at the end of this year. Trying to get some more international stuff going on. But I love it. It's been going.
I love what you do.
Thank you.
It's a little bit different art than I'm used to, but I think it's great to help people sort of come out of their own heads and loosen up. I think that's what it's really about. It's not really about the sex, but are you able to just let go and be in a moment and enjoy the person you're with and your partner and just be. Because I think we're all very clouded by our histories, our backgrounds, and what we think we should be. So I could see what you're saying where in a session it's like you're connecting with people because they're truly able to just let go and come out of that for an hour or a moment at least, you know?
And it's needed. It's so needed, man. And I didn't realize getting into it exactly how deep it was and what I was really doing, but like the deeper I got into it, and I was like, yo, this feels really good. Like if I walked around and was like, yeah, I tie people up and it was about doing the ropes and BDSM, I probably wouldn't be still doing this by now. I'm too active and too moved to the next thing, you know what I'm saying? So like I would have been moved on to the next thing if it was about that. But when I realized like this is something I could do, yeah, it has those components of it, but also I'm helping people and I'm actually helping our people become better. I try to teach people like make it what you want it to be. Don't get caught up in what you see and think like this is what you got to be. Even when you look at my own page, I'm like, people be like, oh, I don't do this. I'm like, that's cool, that's fine. That's you looking at somebody else's session and thinking that this is what you're gonna do in your session. Like everybody's session is different, you know what I'm saying? So you'll be able to choose and pick out what you want. If you see things that you don't like, that's cool, it's fine. That person might have asked me specifically for certain things like that.
Right.
Like, I did a scene the other day with somebody, and I was like shooting, and I was filming it, and then she's like, smack me. And I was like, all right. So I was smacking her, pow, 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 and I'm filming the shit. But then when I put the shit on screen, people were like bugging out, and I was like, yo.
That's what she wanted.
Like she wanted. Like I don't never normally just start smacking on sisters. I ain't trying to get fucked up. Like yo, you gotta forget that I'm only 150 pounds. Half these sisters that I do, my size are bigger than me. Like if they really wanted me off them, they really want. If that was some fuckery going on, they would probably whoop my ass. Like, I'm not a fighter, yo. I ain't even trying to fight nobody. I'm just like, yeah, hey, so. Like this is not my session. This is your session. This is what you want. Your experience. I'm just here to facilitate it. That's
I love it. How can people reach you and possibly get a session of their own?
www.eroticropesby-.com.
They can also reach you on Instagram at eroticropes-4. And please reach out to me at Tanisha Wood on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter and let me know what you think of today's show. And until next time, wish me love. Hello again, my lovely listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of DRL. If you like the show, be sure to go on iTunes and leave a rating and also write a review. And don't forget to share with your friends and tell them all about DRL. Thank you so much for supporting.